Welcome to the Daily. It's Friday, February 4th. My name is Tim, one of the pastors here, as we're journeying through John's Gospel. Our crosswalk, easy for me to say, our crosswalk sermon series continues. Today we're reflecting on the end of John chapter 6. This concludes Jesus' long teaching, pointing to himself as the bread of life that's come down from heaven. If you eat Jesus' body and drink his blood, you will have eternal life. I pray you all believe this teaching from Jesus. Some of Jesus' early disciples did not. Verse 60, when many of his disciples heard it, they said, "This is a hard saying. Who can listen to it?" But Jesus, knowing in himself that his disciples were grumbling about this, said to them, "Do you take offense at this? Then what if you were to see the Son of Man ascending to where he was before? It is the Spirit who gives life. The flesh is no help at all. The words that I have spoken to you are spirit and life. But there are some of you who do not believe." For Jesus knew from the beginning who those were who did not believe and who it was who would betray him. And he said, "This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless it is granted by the Father." Verse 66, after this, many of his disciples turned back and no longer walked with Jesus. So Jesus turned and said to the 12, "Do you want to go away as well?" Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life, and we have believed and have come to know that you are the Holy One of God." Jesus is amazing. Jesus knows what you're thinking even when you don't say it. Jesus basically says, you think eating and drinking my body and blood is kind of a wild thing? Just wait until I ascend into heaven to sit at the right hand of the Father. Oh, and since I have a seat right next to the Father, by faith, you'll sit there with me. Some of the disciples have heard enough. Many walk away from Jesus. Some probably thought Jesus had reached the height of blasphemy. Others probably thought he'd fully lost his marbles. Others may have believed, now follow here, others may have believed, but knew this type of talk would get Jesus killed, and they also may lose their life. They may experience persecution. The risk at this point was not worth it. I wonder if they repented and came back to follow Jesus after Pentecost in Acts 2. Regardless, Jesus shows his deep humanity. Are you going away too? I see the looking around of the 12, right? There is a long, tense pause. Peter, he breaks the silence by boldly proclaiming, "Who else would we follow, Jesus? You have the words of eternal life, and we have believed, and we know you are the Holy One of God." When the world stands in silence about Jesus, may you say with Peter, the disciples, the baptized, the martyrs down through the last 2,000 years, "Jesus, I have nowhere else to go but to you. You are the Holy One of God." Let Jesus be known. He loves you so much. Thanks for joining us this week on The Daily.